All right, ladies and gentlemen, real quick before we get started here, for those of you who don't know, I am actually probably one of the few people in this world. I'm a big Vince Russo fan. Way back when I loved the Vince Russo era of WCW, apparently run bankrupt. Even his early TNA stuff with the Sports Entertainment Extreme, it was good. Vince Russo put up a tweet the other day. It was about MJF's his quote unquote pipe bomb. I applaud the style of booking, knowing that, but the comedy comes with the journalist who believed it was a shoot when it was a work from the jump. Absolute joke that they charge you for this misinformation, which begs the question: you can charge people for misinformation? How are we not millionaires right now? Like, what is going? I got to get Joseph Kennedy Jarzenka a phone call after this episode. But now it makes even more sense why Dave Meltzer has as much money as he does. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast, powered as always by the Eastern Observer. You can taste the power. Hopefully it tastes a little bit more power than misinformation that we've been giving out the past 105 episodes. Hopefully we'll give you a little bit more today as well. My name is Karl. I'll be your host for this evening. Joining us on the bottom part of our screen, the first ever PWB champion, the living legend, John the Connie. John, how are things today?
Not bad, not bad. Good evening to you and all. What's going on?
Oh, another beautiful day to be talking some wrestling. On the top part of our screen.
And number 4, John Smith.
I'm a huge Ryan Pulak fan. That's why I used that one instead of, I guess, the other 5 I had to choose from. John, how are things today?
Good, man. You're lucky I came on today after you made me stay to watch the main event on Sunday.
I honestly thought Rollins had – I thought they were going to switch it. They kind of did Seth Rollins dirty on that. I guess we can get into that conversation. James Wheeler chiming in, hitting hard early. MJF will be NXT's next biggest star. Woo! That'd be pretty interesting if they go that route with him. Real quick, so we're just going to get right into it. On today's episode, Braun Breaker defended his title at NXT In Your House. Josh Alexander looking to take out Violent by Design one at a time before his match with Eric Young at Slammiversary. Ricochet will defend the Intercontinental Championship this Friday against Gunther. Good luck with that. Gary Mehaffy is back with us. Thank God John Smith didn't get the job done over in Belfast. Gary is back with us today to discuss NXT UK and what seemingly is the end of Mustache Mountain. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows. The graphics and statistics are always presented by minutestobelltime.com, and as always, sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she will like it too.
Oh,
yeah. We're going to main event the show with AEW, and just wow, what a week for them, huh?
yeah, buddy.
Here are our Raw roll-up standings going into this week's Action Raw with a 2 roll-up lead over AEW. Yeah, we'll get it. We're gonna get the Raw early, so Raw had a day last night. Raw had themselves a day. But we're going to curtain jerk the show with WWE and Hell in a Cell. And as John Smith mentioned, I did make him stay and watch the Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins match. John Smith was one of the few people in our pool out of about 30 people. I think he was one of 3 that picked Seth Rollins. And I'm sitting like, John, he's hurt. Like, he's gone. Stay for the points. Like, you're going to get the 15 points that none of us are going to get. So that didn't exactly happen. But what we're going to do right now, as promised, as we discussed Sunday night, John, I will mute you. I will take away your audio so you can't hear us. Okay, there, and you're done. See, now, John, can you hear us?
Yes.
See, good. All right, so now John is, he doesn't have to go away. He doesn't have to listen to this, but John DeConnie, absolutely just gutsy, ballsy performance by one Codence Rhodes. I believe his real name is Codence. Your thoughts on him, your thoughts on the match. Very NHL. We talked about it last week. Tristan Jarry playing with a broken foot. I know Jason Weston chimed in with Barkley Goudreau playing through injuries. Just wow. Balls.
Balls. Say what you want. Yeah, a Willis Reed-esque performance. It was amazing. Everything broke overnight, and then WWE went out of their way to tell us just how bad it was, but how it still wasn't going to stop this warrior, this Homelander-esque figure, Cody Rhodes, who, came down, first of all, Rollins kicks things off. He's playing mind games right off the bat. Yeah, he opens up his half sequins and half shag carpet robe to reveal he's wearing all black with Dusty's signature big yellow polka dots. So now he's already inside Cody's head. Cody starts to make his way to the ring. He hits the portion of his song where he throws his arms open victoriously. And you can see already that noodle on his right shoulder is just dangling. He doesn't get that arm up in the air. And you're thinking to yourself, what the hell is going to happen here? He makes it to the ring. They start their intros. He doesn't open his jacket until the very last second. And as he slides out of his Homelander gimmick, we see that his entire right pec and the whole inner part of his right bicep is beyond Barney the dinosaur purple. And, you're thinking to yourself, what is he going to be able to do? I mean, he clearly he can't use his right arm at all. Well, the match gets underway. They start beating the hell out of each other. You can see every time Cody is forced to move the right side of his body at all, he's wincing in pain. Seth goes underneath the ring. He finds, once again, keeping the gimmick strong, a weight belt with the polka dots on it. He uses that to whoop Cody. Cody finds a bull rope at one point, and Seth is dumb enough to be his Huckleberry and put his arm in the other end of it. So
that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. They danced around with that for a bit, including Seth quite literally getting his bell rung and almost getting knocked out with the bell sitting in the middle of the bull rope. Seth powerbombs Cody through a table that he had set up in the corner. Cody kicks out at 2. Seth digs out the sledgehammer, but thank God Cody knocks it away to start. But then Cody winds up outside the ring. He gets caught sliding back in. He gets stomped, kicks it 2 again. We're getting a Super Cena performance here, ladies and gentlemen. And then Cody hits 2 consecutive crossroads before picking up the sledgehammer himself and taking it right to his jaw to get the 1, 2, 3. 24 minutes of how did this man manage to do it? Cody Rhodes is your victor.
Yeah, that was amazing. And James Weir said it. It's Cody said it, and there were sledgehammers, there were attempted pedigrees. It was for the love of Triple H. That's really much what it comes down to. That was really, really good. I guess he's having surgery tomorrow. So we're going to bring John Smith back in. We'll put his audio back. John, we'll put his okay.
I heard the whole thing. Cody's trash. He's an attention whore.
The funny thing is, if he no-showed this, I think that would have been bad. Like, I think if he didn't show up for this match and they had to put like McIntyre or something in, I believe McIntyre was subbed in for him on that house show Saturday, from what I heard. Who knows? I think that would have been very detrimental to Mr. Rhodes' career. But onwards and forwards, John Smith, our first match of the evening for the Raw Women's Championship. Absolute great match. We sat there. It went over 20 minutes, I believe, from what John DeCloney's stopwatch said. So absolutely incredible match. And we were talking about it during it. This should have been in a cell.
should have been in a cell, but also it really didn't have to be because it was an A+ match without it. So, I'm not mad about it now that we've seen the match. All three this is the first time I can ever say that I enjoyed what Bianca Belair did in a match. Like normally, I'm not a fan of hers. I thought that she's just way out of her league being in matches with Becky and Asuka and even Charlotte, even though I don't like her. But the three of them really went at it, and they all looked strong. They all had their own points in the match where they were dominant, and it ends up with Becky manhandle slamming Asuka, and then Bianca tossing Becky out and stealing the pin for herself. So Asuka eats the 1, 2, 3, and now we're probably still going to get some Becky and Belair stuff going on because Becky didn't get pinned, and the match was won with her move.
Yeah. So they had a little bit of that last night on Raw. We'll get into that in the next segment. Bobby Lashley, he won his handicap match. He defeated both Omos and MVP after Cedric Alexander got involved, but this time as a distraction to Omos, there was a backstage, meeting with Cedric Alexander and MVP. MVP just kept shooting him down like the Hurt Business is over. You're done. We don't need you. Get out of our face. So Cedric took that That's when I took that personally. Was that Michael Jordan thing? That's when I took that personally. So Cedric took that personally, came out, distracted Omos, leading to Lashley hitting the spear on Omos and locking in the Hurt Lock on MVP for the tap out. John DeConnie. Shame on all of us. Shame on us. We picked against a guy, all of us, I believe, like I said, out of the originals pool that I run, 30 people, 2 remembered that Kevin Owens just recently main evented WrestleMania against Stone Cold Steve Austin. And we bet against him with this newcomer named Ezekiel. Shame on us.
Yeah, and I have no problem saying often that KO is one of, if not my favorite guy on the WWE roster. And even at that, I was convinced about 8 seconds into this match when Ezekiel hit a jumping knee and dropped a savage elbow. I'm like, oh, I expected Ezekiel to win, but he's going to win it that quickly. And I, would have been pissed, but I would not have been surprised if it had ended right there. Well, KO kicked out. They went back and forth again for another 9+ minutes before Zeke went back up to the top buckle, tried to come off again. KO gets the knees up, stunner, 1, 2, 3. Shame on us. But again, as much as I love watching Kevin Owens win, what the hell are you doing with Ezekiel if he didn't win that match?
Well, we'll talk about that because they're going to go at it again next week. Theory defeated Mustafa Ali after Ali missed a 450 splash, allowing Theory to hit the A-Town down to retain the United States Championship. For those of you who want to continue to see Mustafa Ali in WWE, please turn into the main event on Peacock TV. Madcap Moss defeated Baron Corbin after breaking Corbin's cervix with the chairs, the steps, same move that Corbin used on him with the Andre Trophy. Madcap Moss set up Corbin's neck in the same thing. Used the steel steps, broke his cervix. Again, his cervix is just a lot. Terrible. Madcap Moss with a big victory there. No suspenders for Madcap Moss. He is done with those. Then we have the last match that we're going to get into. And before we even get into it, because it's going to transition onto Raw. But here are our WWE standings. This is what we did last week. Ryan went 6-1. Said the only one he got wrong was Ezekiel and Kevin Owens. Same thing with Maggie. Everybody else, we got one wrong here and there and the other. So we are all chasing the joys as is tradition. And also, once again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Hell in a Cell down, I believe, in Guatemala, for sponsoring this wonderful pay-per-view event. But about last night on Raw, from Hell in a Cell, the Judgment Day, they defeated AJ Styles, Finn Balor, after Balor got stalled on top turnbuckle by Rhea Ripley, eventually giving Edge time to move out of the way of the coup de grace. and then hit the spear on Finn Balor for the win. Fast forward to last night. By the way, Raw live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Shout out Ken Kennedy. The Judgment Day, they were announcing their new member in an in-ring promo to start the third hour. It was Finn Balor. Great. Balor was impressed with Priest, impressed with Rhea Ripley. How Rhea stood in between him and Edge, and instead of being shocked, whatever, he admired. They had a conversation afterwards. They ended up turning on Edge because Edge was holding them back. What the bleep is going on right now, John Nicani? What the hell was that?
I don't understand. If you were going to do that swerve, why not get the extra mileage out of it to get a swerve on Sunday? Where if Finn was going to join anyway, why not get him swerving AJ on Sunday, then get the double delicious swerve of him turning on Edge on Monday? And if you were, and why? Well, now what are you doing with Edge? Was this Edge's excuse to take the summer off? What the hell is hurt here? Well, he sure is now. He took a concerto. He's going to be out for
I know. I did find out it's actually going to be Edge versus Damian Priest on Rampage. Oh wait, never mind. Sorry, force a habit. Yeah. Is Beth pregnant and we don't know about? Like, there's a lot of questions here of what Edge, John Smith.
I think they called an audible because they don't have a big baby face because Cody's gone. I think that they decided there's nobody else that could handle like a big baby face role on the roster right now, so they want Edge to do it. So they pivoted and they threw him back on. They're making him a face now.
That poor bastard. He just cut his hair to look like Rhea Ripley, and now you do this to him?
Now he's doing his best Big Show impression.
Exactly. This is very Big Show. Very good.
You spend a month getting him over as evil, and now, yeah, you know what? We need a good guy. Can you just can you put back on the other tights?
And they just got that cool 3D graphic of the scales and everything. I thought that was awesome. Like, I'm like, this is going to be the greatest. Like,
well, the mental gymnastics that they have to pull off to like justify all of this is going to be fun to watch. So, you know, we'll see what kind of explanations they have next week.
Yeah, think about how much money
Edge was holding back Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, and to their point, now that Rhea Ripley is free of Edge's control, yeah. Rhea Ripley went on to win the main event, defeating Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, and Doudrop after a riptide on Doudrop. Very impressive, by the way. Rhea will now challenge for the Raw Women's title at Money in the Bank, and there was nothing with Liv Morgan and Finn Balor here. Again, now Liv Morgan was in the process. I think Saxton said it. I wonder what Liv thinks about this. And meanwhile, it's just like you figure Liv would just be pissed as all hell, wondering what the hell was going on. And they just, I don't know. But like I said, we got Rhea Ripley. She's going to, like I said, challenge at Money in the Bank. So now, in the wisp of a finger, I do believe Cody Rhodes and Rhea Ripley were my two Money in the Bank predictions last week. God. Misinformation, boys. Pay it up. Show started with an in-ring promo from Cody putting himself over for the heroics and Herculean effort he displayed at Hell in a Cell. Interrupted by Seth Rollins, who came out to put over Cody and eventually jumped him and beat him down with the sledgehammer. So that's that. John Smith, enjoy the next 4 to 5 months, Cody free. And we're looking forward to your displeasure in January when we're all picking Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble and headline WrestleMania.
You mean Stardust?
You think he'll come back as Stardust in the Rumble?
I think he should, because that's the best work he's ever done.
All right. The season premiere edition of Miz TV with Miz and Maurice. Cue Bobby Heenan. Wow, look at them. I want to try to find audio that and figure that in every time something like that happens. Wow, look at them. Had Riddle as his guest who's done fighting the Usos. Now he wants Roman for taking out Randy. We witnessed a discussion about the size of Miz's balls. After getting jumped by Ciampa, Miz agreed to have the match that Riddle proposed, and then Riddle ended up beating the Miz in a tuxedo with an RKO. I think that was about 4 minutes he had down at the bottom. Miz ended up with his pants shredded, his wife's purse in his hand, and the crowd chanting tiny balls at him. So that is a very fun way to promote the season premiere of Miz and Mrs. Street Profits defeated the Uso in Champions Contender match via countdout after Montez and Jay were brawling outside. Jay was thrown over the barricade. Montez just beat the count back in. So now at some point, it looks like the Street Profits are up next. The Usos, I guess we'll just fast forward because the Usos successfully defended the championships on SmackDown this past Friday. They defeated Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura. I guess Nakamura got hurt on that. They carted him away. Riddle lost 2-on-1. So we'll see what happens with there. But John DeConnie, as I said backstage, I am a firm believer that Mr. McMahon, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, does watch this. So, and I do believe last week, Britt Baker, the good doctor, set the record. We were all having fun with it. She had a roll-up in the semifinals of the Owen Hart tournament on Wednesday night in Dynamite, and then rolled up Ruby Soho in the finals to win the tournament. 2 roll-ups in 1 week. But Vince McMahon and Monday Night Raw shall not be denied.
No, Vince said, hold my beer, and started the show with Becky and Dana Brooke, which, you know, at that moment you were saying to yourself, what the hell do these two things have in common? But they kicked off the show with a match. And let me get this right, in like 40 seconds or so, Tozawa in the 24/7 division came down. Tozawa spilled into the ring to try and avoid them. Well, there's Dana Brooke right there. So she rolled him up and became the new 24/7 champion. Well, this didn't sit too well with Becky because her match, I suppose, is that even though no bell ever rang until the roll-up, I guess their match is a no contest. Becky wants the match restarted, and she wants to be for the 24/7 title.
Nobody wins the title in that ring other than Becky. That's fair.
There you go. So that match kicks off. We only get about 2 minutes, 15 seconds out of that. Asuka's music plays. Becky is busy staring daggers at Asuka as she's on her way down to the ring. Dana tries to roll Becky up, but she kicks out. No, we're not going to have that. But then a little back and forth. Becky goes for the manhandle slam, but Dana grabs a single leg, flips into a jackknife cover. This is usually where they would do the spot where they power up and twist around. But Asuka's still there at ringside. She ducks down and kind of holds on to Becky's foot. Becky can't kick out. We've got cha-ching, another roll-up victory, and the 24/7 title successfully defended.
Dana Brooke, 2 roll-ups. What, 10 minutes? Less than 10 minutes.
Probably less than 5.
You can't out-roll up Monday Night Raw. I'm sorry. Great effort by AEW. Great effort by Britt Baker. Amazing. Bobby Lashley did an in-ring promo, ready to discuss his next venture. Interrupted by Theory, who apparently has a death wish and doesn't want to be United States champion anymore. So to be continued with that feud. Omos defeated Cedric Alexander after, like I said, they had that meeting and Cedric costed Omos the match. 2-handed choke slam, 13 seconds for the pinfall. Post-match, the Dirty Dogs came out to do an interview in the Okerlund position. Shot out to Corey Graves. Very well done. Perfect. Love it. I hope that sticks. Omos and MVP didn't like that the Dogs were taking up their airtime. And before Pete could finish his thought, you got super kicked by Dolph Ziggler, and then they ran away. So off we go. Dirty Dogs versus Omos. And I guess maybe MVP if he wants to get froggy. So we're off and running with those 4. John Smith, our internet darling, Veer Mahan. We were kind of poking fun at this, but PWI, the future PWI feud of the year, 2022. It's getting some traction right now with Veer and the Mysterios.
The future PWI #1 wrestler of 2022, Veer Mahan. Versus Dominic Mysterio, who actually is starting to look a little bit better. Veer dominated at the beginning, of course, and then a spirited contest by Dominic. Even hit a a nice looking frog splash, the best one I've ever seen him hit. And then Veer kicked out at 1. So then Veer was about to destroy his cervix, and Rey Mysterio got involved and hit him with a 619, and then another one, and got the DQ win for Veer. Win for Veer. And hit him again with another 619 on the outside somehow. I don't know how he worked it, but it made sense. So, yeah.
And Corey Graves shooting out Rey Mysterio and preventing his son from getting serious again from getting his cervix broken. A lot of cervix is getting broken. Veer's doing most of it, but then they got Happy Corbin and Madcap and all. It's just got to protect the cervix. We do have one match to talk about for next week. Good job, Raw. We actually get to pick a match on Raw for once. Last night, Ezekiel defeated Otis with a crucifix pin. Check one more roll up for Raw. That's 3 for this episode. Good job, boys. Post-match, Zeke on the mic wants KO again next week. KO agreed, but only if Zeke admitted that he was Elias. So Zeke did, but then admitted that he lied to get the match. So Ezekiel is a liar regardless if he is actually Elias or now he's lying. Guy's a liar. Put it that way. He just lies. So they'll go at it again on Hell in a Cell Backlash next Monday night. Don Smith, who do you got? We learn from our mistakes, I guess. Did we learn from our mistakes? I'm picking.
I'm still gonna go with Ezekiel. I got to double down.
John the Connie. Now this is Monday Night Raw, not a pay-per-view. Alpha Academy might be getting involved here. Is the only, I guess, cheat to win. Kevin Owens.
Yeah, but don't you almost see them getting involved and costing Kevin accidentally? So I'm gonna double down as well and say Zeke either wins this or he's seeing R-Truth in his 24/7 title around very soon.
Also, speaking of the 24/7 title, I saw a couple posts or whatever. Let's just relax with Becky Lynch being around the 24/7 title. It was the start of the feud for Becky and Asuka. It was to get. It was just they just put them together. Now they're going to go apart. They probably should put Becky and Asuka inside Hell in the Cell. Wait, can they build this for a year?
If you don't mind seeing it 72 times.
Yeah, might as well. You can bring the Cell back for these two. Last Friday, we're going to rewind at SmackDown. Like I mentioned, the Usos, they retained the tag team championships. Actually, kudos, good job, Sami Zayn. Roman's music hit, which distracted Riddle when he was about to go for an RKO off the top rope. Allowed Jay to make the splash, or Jimmy, one of the two, to make the tag on the other. Splash on Riddle after the RKO. Sammy back in the production truck. He was giddier than a pig in bleep. That his plan worked. He came out to celebrate. So Sammy's earning his stripes as a member of the honorary member of the Bloodline. Anyway, John the Connie sure started. I guess they were thanking Drew McIntyre for getting them back in the win column.
Yes, Kofi and Woods announced as the New Day again because they went away from that for a while. Started making me nervous there. They brought out their good buddy Drew McIntyre. They shouted out Big E at home, who's finally out of his neck brace. And then they gave Drew McIntyre an early birthday present, a pair of his own neon trunks with his nickname across the front. After his shout out to Big E, he declared himself Big D. And sure, let's roll with that. Then Sheamus, Holland, and Butch, who I guess are now going by the Brawling Brutes, make their way out. Sheamus talks a little trash, but Butch is impatient, and he sprints down to the ring. We go to commercial as it's now a 6-way melee. We come out of commercial, and, of course, they've already got a match started. We've got some WWE trios action going on. And in the end, Butch would hit the bitter end on Woods to get the victory in 11 minutes of at least non-commercial TV time.
I go to minutestobelltime.com to get your time so I can put them on the bottom Twitter. And every time I see that greater than that alligator mouth that we learned about in elementary school, I just he hates that button. He hates it. John DeConnie, I want to stay with you. There was a six-pack challenge to determine Ronda's next challenger. A lot of number one contender stuff with the women. You know, last night we had Rhea Ripley. She won. She will challenge Bianca. I miss Io Shirai. And we had one on SmackDown as well. I hope I don't get in trouble for that one.
Rhea Ripley.
Yes, it did. Yeah, you know, I almost forgot what a WWE six-pack challenge was. I thought this was going to get a nice chunk of time. This was going to be a gauntlet elimination style match. No, it's just a fatal four-way, but with 6 people. So we had Raquel Rodriguez, we had Shotzi, Aaliyah, we got Shayna Baszler, we got Xia Li, and we have Natalya in there. And it goes just barely over 4 minutes before Raquel hits the former Chingona bomb on Shotzi. And Shayna jumps on Raquel's back, locks in the Kirifuda clutch. They kind of stumble away, and Natty picks up the scraps. She jumps on top of Shotzi for the 1, 2, 3, and now we have Natalya versus Ronda coming up. Is that going all the way to Money in the Bank, or is that just undetermined?
That wasn't announced yet. Maybe. I would. Why not? I mean, if they're trying, regardless if this is going to be at Allegiant Stadium, and I know it's not, you know, they're still going to try to put on. If they want this to be the 5th of a big 5, like this is going to be a show. So regardless, I mean, I think they're going to, even though the stadium is changed to an arena, I want to say that that's not changing the game plan of the show. So I think if you have Ronda versus Natalya, I think that's a great match for that. Yeah, Raw.
I think Natalya trained her, right?
Yeah, I think that's what James is talking about right there. Yeah, that's Natty was very instrumental on Ronda Rousey and getting her WWE ready for WrestleMania 34. Jinder Mahal defeated Umberto with the Raw roll-up. Check one for Jinder. After this time, Shanky's distraction works in Jinder's favor. Post-match, Shanky again did his Rating Mutual dance for the ring announcer, and this time she joined in. I don't know where HR is during all this, but I think Shanky just needs to tone it down a bit. I guess it's not sexual harassment if you're good looking, right? Didn't Saturday Night Live teach that? Max Dupree announced that this Friday night on SmackDown, he will reveal his first client for Maximum Male Models that will change the landscape of WWE. Crossover Town, I believe is what they're calling him. Any guesses? Mansoor, John Smith.
I'm thinking I can't think of anybody from the main roster. The first person I thought of for some reason was Grayson Waller. I don't know why.
That would be good. Screw, just get Tiffany Stratton up there too. Like that should be a package deal. That'd be great. Yeah, we already know from those dark segments it's Face and Mansoor. So Face from the A-Team, John DeConnie.
Nice. Where's he been?
Breaking off.
Yeah, that's going to be another a week of discussions. Oh my God, another name change.
Oh, Mace. Yeah, I wonder what their name is.
Face from Nick Jr. Nick Jr. Remember that?
What's if they do this with Mansoor, it's going to be interesting the reception that he's going to get with Eli Drake or LA Knight or whatever his name is now. I gotta check my sheet.
Dupree.
Max Dupree in Saudi Arabia in November. Obviously, Mansoor, he's due to beat Brock Lesnar at some time out there. I don't know if maybe Max Dupree is going to help him do it, but let's see what happens with that. Lacey Evans, she's getting a reboot, I guess. Now she's going to be on SmackDown, and now she's, I guess, I'm going to try this again. Lacey Evans, take 2. And then, as I mentioned in the headlines, dead man walking. John DeConnie. Gunther looking to be the 89th Intercontinental Champion.
Oh, poor Ricochet. Who did he piss off? Yeah, give me Gunther. And I don't see how they get around it.
John Smith, I forget somebody, I don't know if it was on the discussion thread from Minutes to Belt on the comments, a random comment I saw. Like somebody said they kept this match off of the pay-per-view because if they gave these guys 15 minutes, they'd embarrass everybody. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get 15 minutes anyway. I think Gunther is going to make short work of him. Not like, 2 minutes or anything, but I think it won't be more than like 5 or 6.
All right, so we'll make the transition with Gunther. I don't know where Gary. Are you still with us? Gary is a little bleepy back. There he is. Okay, there's that handsome face. Actually, we'll end the conversation here. Gary, it takes away my joke. I was going to introduce you like that. So I'm taking away my own joke on this one. Before we get into the pleasantries and how we're happy to see you, how do you feel about Gunther and the Intercontinental title and everything? What do you think?
Yeah, I think when I saw it was almost like the Lamb to the slaughter. I would say Gunther, as John was saying, probably in about 5 minutes is going to kind of set a scene and get given a run here. And poor Ricochet is going to have. It'll be a good match while it lasts, but yeah, I think Gunther will take it.
All right, so we'll leave it at that. John Smith, John DeConti, we will see you in a little bit. We have some things to catch up here with Gary Mehaffy. First things first, Gary, it's great to see you. I know we kind of poked a little fun at your expense last week. We wouldn't do that if we didn't love you, but we're just glad to see that you're okay. And, pal, and also you did send us pictures. I know I took the joke with Sloth and Goonies here, but it was a pretty wicked fall you took. So we're glad to see you, pal.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But as I say, I was talking about one of the kids in school when I was telling them today and said about how I had a wee fall and I had to get my stitches. And one of the kids just looked at me, whose mum was a nurse, and very quietly she just said, "If you had to get stitches, it wasn't a wee fall." And I just looked and went, "No, it wasn't. It was a big fall, but I'm okay." I was like, "I'm okay. Knocked out for 5 minutes, but I'm okay."
Well, it's a good thing over in the United Kingdom, they have the King's horses and they have the King's men, and they were able to put guys back together again. And before we get into anything NXT UK, as the New Day did on Friday, they got Drew McIntyre a big D. I don't know if it was a kilt. It was a kilt, right? A New Day kilt for his birthday yesterday. What did you get, Drew?
I got him. I got a sarcastic comment from him for his birthday, if that counts. But, if that counts. But no, yes, I got him the pleasure of me going, yeah, he got my stitches out. Wasn't that nice? That was all right.
But I know, Gary, unfortunately, the 1 week that you missed was the one match you've been waiting for a long time now. So I want to give you your proper due. The British Rounds match, the Heritage Cup style match. It wasn't for the Heritage Cup champion. That is securely with no MDAR. But Charlie Dempsey, A-Kid, John DeConti loved it. I loved it. As Ryan Joy would say, what say you?
Just absolutely brilliant. I mean, it was all the callbacks. I love the tiny things. Like you had the end of round 1, you had Egghead that close to a pin, and it was like, the end of round 2, Dempsey was like that close to a pin. And then obviously the callback in round 3 to the bow and arrow submission, and Egghead thinking, I'm not going to get snapped in half. I'll tap out quick before he puts it on. There was all those little callbacks I loved, and the technical wrestling's amazing. Charlie Dempsey, literally, just every time you see him, man, going he's just absolutely amazing. And A-Kid is fantastic. But that match, for anybody who hasn't seen it, I know last week, I remember James was saying he was going to tune in this week. I hope he went back and watched that one first, because it was absolutely just tremendous.
James did watch. I watched NXT for the first time on Thursday, and I thought it was great. James, welcome to the party.
Oh, yeah.
You have been missing out. You could probably start back at episode 1 and just go straight through, and there's not one episode that will disappoint you. NXT UK is that incredible. And as James said, it did not disappoint again last Thursday. We've been calling it for a while. Is this the end of Mustache Mountain?
It's funny, we've been talking, we've been waiting on Smith and Carter to be anointed as champions and waiting for Mustache Mountain to split up, and then in the one match, everything happens. I think it'll be played out a little bit where you'll have Trent Seven doing the old Eeyore like woe is me and no, I'm so terrible, I don't know.
Mhm.
And I do think it will end up in either some sort of heel turn or he'll just disappear for a while. But it does look that way. It looks as if we've reached that point.
Yeah, let's not take away from the history that happened. Ashton Smith, Oliver Carter, they won the NXT Tag Team Championships. They defeated Mustache Mountain and D Familia after Trent Seven wanted to use the title belt as a weapon. Tyler Bate didn't want them to. They had a tug of war with the belt. Carter came in flying to take out Tyler Bate while Ashton Smith check one for NXT UK with the Raw roll up for the tag title victory. There was a post match discussion between Mustache Mountain. Bates said he didn't know cheating. Seven said we do whatever it takes. Seven eventually walked away saying we're done as we're leaving. And this is where I'm hoping. I know what's today. Today's June 7th. Happy anniversary to my parents. 53 years. My mother's a big fan of you, Gary, being Irish and everything. 53 years. My father's had to put up with her. Oh, poor guy. Clash at the Castle, September 3rd. Can we do a UK takeover or some type of premium live event September 2nd? Is this what we're leading to now? With Trent Seven, Tyler Bate. I think they pulled the trigger on this.
Yeah.
Now get them back. This something huge here.
It's funny. I had the same thought of going. I could see them on the card itself actually putting a match or two on. I mean, I'm thinking, could you imagine the like of A-Kid and Charlie Dempsey or whatever in front of 80,000? It would be like just if they filled it, that would be nuts. And I think, as you say, Trent Seven and Tyler Bate building up to some sort of either card that weekend or on that card itself over the next couple of months. I didn't even think
of that. That'd be great. If you're gonna do one match, the two OGs, like that's the one that would screw it. Go Brett and Davey, main event, Clash at the Castle with Trent and Tyler, and it'll sell out.
You could almost imagine it being like whenever Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair wrestled right at the end when Shawn did the "I'm sorry, I love you," almost like Tyler Bate right at the end as Trent Seven's about to just die, and he's like, "Sorry, mate," bang. But it's like kind of okay.
So to be continued with that, that's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited now just for I missed the UK takeovers. They were just so good, and there was 3 of them, and it was they were incredible.
Yeah, there was meant to be the one in Dublin that was obviously cancelled during the pandemic. We were meant to get one over here, so hopefully that'll happen.
Von Wagner defeated Sam Gradwell after powering out of the sleeper, putting Gradwell on his shoulders, and then landing that spinning suplex he's been doing as his finisher. NXT 3, NXT UK 1 right now, Gary. These guys, we're invading your territory. We're coming over there. I think that'll change though once we get to the end of this conversation. Amal, that bitch. She approached Zaya Brookside and Eliza Alexander as they entered the building, saying if Eliza thinks she's leaving with Amal's head, thinks she's living in Amal's head. It's time to pay the rent. This match wasn't official. Don't know if they'll have 2 women's matches on one show. So we'll hold off on that conversation right now. But it looks like we're getting Amal versus Elijah Alexander. Yeah. We found out on the East End bookie that Noam and Shaw will take on Wolfgang and Damon Kemp in 2 weeks, which will be June 16th, not this Thursday, but the one following. And when they left, you can see the odds once again. They will be in Noam and Shaw's favor. So we'll discuss that next week, Gareth. Stevie Turner defeated Angel Hayes. Angel Hayes getting some TV time here. And how do you think Stevie did? I want to keep on talking here.
Yeah, no, I mean, she did well. It's like Stevie Turner, I can never quite put my finger on. I don't think they quite know what to do with her. She had a couple of weeks where she was a face, and then she's back to being like a few months ago, and then she's back to being this 4K, whatever. And she kind of is good. I just think she's one of these ones that they need to go, okay, are you really good? Let's show you and move her up the card a little bit and kind of make her push her to kind of show what she can do because she is good. And Angel Hayes, it was nice to see Angel Hayes getting a little run. She's from ICW in Scotland, and it was nice to see her getting some more TV time. So
yeah, she was Amal's partner in that tag team match a couple of weeks ago that we got this beautiful picture from that I love so dearly. James Wheeler with a comment right now. Let me get to the comment section here. He wants Becky Lynch and Mako Satomura for the UK Championship at Clash at the Castle. That would be pretty impressive.
That would be great.
Actually, I mistimed that. I was going to lead that into the Women's Championship match, but we have Kenny Williams and Mark Andrews first on the undercard. They got into it in the parking lot as Mark Andrews was leaving. Tiger Tehran was looking in the background. That's the wrong NXT. There we go.
There we are.
We got Josh Briggs and Von Wagner too. Von Wagner, a lot of flying overseas from Von Wagner and Ivy Nile. And,
He's got. I wish I had Von Wagner's air miles. That would be okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Mark Andrews. I got a funny feeling there's going to be a Mark Andrews win with Kenny just getting. He's going to be seeing those masked people again. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing. It'll be Tiger Tehran's everywhere, I think.
So now we'll go back to Miko Satomura because she has a tough task ahead of her. She has NXT 2.0's Ivy Nile from Diamond Mine. There's two members of Diamond Mine over there, Damon Kemp and along with Ivy Nile. NXT UK Women's Championship. Nighty went in, respectfully asked, and Miko respectfully accepted. And here we are. This is, I don't say rip it off CM Punk and Adam Page, but this is purely business right here. Nothing personal between the two.
This kind of, I'll not say scares me. This was the one match when I saw it coming up going, I can't see Ivy Nile losing. I just don't. I think she's somebody they want to put, but yet there's no way they're going to put the title on her. I mean, I don't think. So whether we end up with Isla Dawn or somebody coming back to kind of, maybe this is B. Priestley coming back, or Aoife Valkyrie must be due to be back soon. Somebody to kind of come back and interrupt and cause a DQ, and then maybe you have Ivy Nile and Mako Satomura teaming up. So I can't see. I think it'll be either a DQ or some sort of interference finish to make Mako Satomura win, but I don't see a title change there.
James Wheeler spreading rumors. WWE recently filed a trademark for Rip Fowler to be Jordan Devlin. Rip Fowler.
I could see Fowler would be the surname of an old Liverpool football player, so I could see kind of that fitting in. I could see them giving him some sort of random name.
Liverpool. I miss grizzled young veterans. Real quick, Gary, we're gonna send you off. Before we go, we're gonna make the seamless transition here to In Your House. I know we didn't talk about this pre-production, but did you happen to see Pretty Deadly?
No, unfortunately not. I didn't get to see that at all. I was really wanting to, and I'm hoping to go back and watch it because I mean it reads really well, and it kind of to me was a good pat in the back for Pretty Deadly because it was a case of going, the Creeds, they're going to put steam behind them, but they're green. We need somebody to give them a good match. So do you know what? We trust you're going to give them a good match. And for somebody who's brand new over there, I think it was a real big pat in the back for the two of them. So I think that they have cemented themselves over there as a good team. It wouldn't surprise me to see them in about 6 months' time up on the main roster, to be fair about it.
Yeah.
I could see that. But no, I haven't actually seen it yet, but I was by all regards, it was a very good match. So.
All right, Gary, sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We are sincerely happy to see that you're okay. And we look forward to hearing you talking to you about Miko Satomura, Ivy Nile next week.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. I'll see you soon.
Have a good night, pal. As we bring back in John Smith, bring back in John DeConnie as we stay with NXT In Your House. John DeConnie, the main event for the NXT Championship. Mr. Breaker loses his cool, gets disqualified. Mr. Gacy walks away with the belt.
That was a heck of a stipulation to have added to this match, and Gacy worked throughout the show in a series of promos to lay the groundwork of how much Braun Breaker loses his cool and the reasons going back to his childhood and this, that, and the other. But none of that really made much of a difference because right before the bell rang, Gacy slapped the taste out of Braun's mouth, and you could see the steam coming out of Breaker's ears. So this one was going to get ugly real quick. And they put on nearly a 16-minute match. It was a good back and forth. Gacy can go. We know Braun can go, especially judged on the NXT 2.0 scale. He's ahead of most down there. At one point, Gacy tried the old Eddie Guerrero trick. He slapped the chair on the canvas, tossed it to Breaker, who just prior had been dealing with some of the Druids. Referee turned around, heard the noise. Gacy's down. Braun's holding a chair. I guess that was enough. He was ready to call for the bell, but a second referee rushed in and stopped his arm from coming down and calling for the bell and said, no, here's what happened behind your back. Let him keep going. And Braun said, well, I guess I've already got the chair, and clobbered whichever Druid was up on the ring apron there. And then using that as a distraction, Gacy tried to hit his handspring discus clothesline. That was cut off by a vicious spear by Braun Breaker, not Von Wagner, Braun Breaker, who then got him up for the Gorilla Press Power Slam. 1, 2, 3. Braun Breaker retains. He is your NXT champion still.
And then we have the Great American Bash coming up. Maybe he's going to have an appointment. Maybe tonight they'll find out maybe who the next challenger for him will be. John Smith, North American Championship match. This one a lot of people got wrong. Some people got right.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that Carmelo won, but then obviously in retrospect it kind of makes sense because I feel like Vince really likes Cameron Grimes and probably wants to bring him up to the main roster soon. And Carmelo is making a name for himself in NXT. He's now a 2-time champ. Great match between these two. Lots of great chain wrestling. Of course, Trick gets involved a couple times. Halfway through, he tries to tie Cameron Grimes' hand to the rope with his bandana, but it doesn't work. And then later on, he gets involved enough, distracts Cameron Grimes enough where Carmelo can take advantage and then hits his ridiculous leg drop off the top rope where the guy has to be bent over in such a certain spot for him to do it. I don't know why this is his finisher, but either way, he's an awesome wrestler and he deserves it. So it's a good match, but I just didn't expect it.
Yeah, as I said, it was a 2-pronged process. That's part one. Trick interferes. Now Cameron Grimes is going to interfere and cost, and now we can keep going with Carmelo and Cameron Grimes for a bit as Solo Sikoa takes the North American Championship elsewhere. Maybe Von Wagner. I think that would be a pretty interesting feud. But that's just me. As I mentioned with Gary, the Creed brothers defeated Pretty Deadly after a shooting star press by Julius Creed, followed by that basement clothesline to win the tag team titles. We all pretty much got that one wrong because we expected Roderick Strong to interfere, and he did not. Wah, 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 wah. So if you knew if it was just going to be 2-on-2 straight up, I think we all would have just pictured the Creeds just absolutely kill Pretty Deadly. And then I guess they stayed pat. Even though they had to take the belts off of MSK for what happened, Pretty Deadly was a Band-Aid, and this was the original plan all along. So the Creeds are on pace with what they were supposed to be doing. John Smith, the opening contest. Family against family. Every leadership on the line here. I did not get to watch it live. I was at a wedding Saturday night, but you were adamant that if I had to pick one match to watch from this show.
Absolutely. This was definitely match of the night. I mean, Pretty Deadly and the Creeds was awesome too. Probably a little bit better, like pure wrestling in that one. But this was just like great story beginning to end. The Legato comes out first, and they pull out a crowbar from inside the ring steps on Tony's corner, and he gives it to the ref. So they were hiding weapons over in Tony's corner. So Tony comes out, and then he notices that his crowbar's gone, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I got you." So then we get the match started. It starts off a little slow, but then we get Santos and Tony at one point, and then match breaks down. We get Cruz del Toro and forgot the other guy's name now. I usually forget Cruz's name. Mendoza. Oh, Joaquin Wild. No, Mendoza is Cruz del Toro. Okay.
You need a list, John. You need a list of all the names. Yes.
They did a couple nice springboards onto the top rope, onto the outside. It was like Young Bucks eat your heart out moment right there. Santos then gets past the brass knucks from Elektra Lopez, who's looking like $1 trillion. And at the same time, when it's either Stacks or Two Dimes, is grabbing another another crowbar from under the ring, handing it to Tony. Tony gets in the ring. Wilder Del Toro grab the crowbar and go to hit Tony with it, and Stacks or Two Dimes takes the shot for him. He's leaned up against the ropes, knocked out. Meanwhile, Tony hits Santos, steals the brass knucks, knocks out the Legato member. He's down. Then Stacks or Two Dimes, whichever one's not knocked out, pushes the knocked out one on top of him for the 3 count, just as Santos is crawling in the ring, but he can't get there in time. So now Legato has to join Tony's family, which needs a name.
It does, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Rumors coming out right now that they're going to be known as Legado del Biscuity. Thank you, Ryan Joy. Ryan Joy sparked that in pre-production. I agree. Real quick, James Wheeler. Diamond Mine just found out Ivan Eiley was portrayed the Uber driver in the backlot brawl from the championship at In Your House 2020. Was that Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream, if memory serves me correct?
I believe you're right.
James also happy that the Creeds won, and then we got this with Sol Sikoa. It's going to be an undefeated champion, and then he's going to join the bloodline. I kind of hope that when Sol Sikoa does go to the main roster, I want him to be the Spike Dudley. I want him to just never get along. I just want him just to be the thorn in the bloodlines. I the goddamn little brother, I just very Spike Dudley. Back to NXT. Mandy Rose defeated Wendy Chu after a jumping knee. That's better than Kenny Omega's, but not quite as good as Buddy Matthews to retain the NXT Women's Championship. Toxic Attraction defeated Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. I don't want to talk about it. So here are our NXT standings. I still got a 1-point lead over Ryan, clinging to it. We both went 4-2. Travis went 4-2 as well. John each went 3-3. And here are the overall standings. Ryan Joy, as he likes to be, he is on top of the Essential Wrestling Podcast pool. Please make sure you go to ProWrestlingPick'em.com. There we go. I get the button right there. We have the Essential Wrestling Podcast pool. You can just subscribe to it, and you can play against us. It's just for fun and games for those of you who like this kind of stuff. So, not Impact. Where's the regular NXT? I deleted the wrong NXT. No, I didn't. So, going into tonight, or actually last Tuesday, stuff that was not NXT In Your House related. Cora Jade defeated Elektra Lopez with a top turnbuckle senton. Wesley defeated Zion Quinn with the Raw roll-up. Check 1 for NXT. Solo Sikoa defeated Duke Hudson with an Uso splash. Ivy Nile defeated Kiana James. Talk nerdy to me after a power slam type maneuver. And probably the biggest, and everyone's talking about CM Punk. Everyone's talking about MJF. Everyone's talking about Cody Rhodes. Probably the biggest news to come out of last week, Tia Hale has committed to Chase U. Congratulations to Chase U. Congratulations to Tia Hale. They panned over to Chase U. And again, Andre said, holy bleed. Everything that he does is just absolutely hysterical. So Chase U has their first recruit. Incoming freshman next semester. Grayson Waller defeated Josh Briggs after a distraction by Von Wagner. Allowed Waller to hit his rolling stunner. This week we're going to have Josh Briggs. He's going to be going up against Von Wagner. Since that distraction plus Von Wagner also took out Brooks Jensen, I believe his partner's name is the one with the cast on his hand. That's the 40-year-old version or 30-year-old version. John Smith, who do you like in the Von Wagner Josh Briggs match?
It's got to be Von Wagner.
John DeConnie.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be quick because it's some good old-fashioned big man violence, but I think Wagner will get it done.
Yeah, actually, James Wheeler just brought up a point. Get your name change list ready. I have mine on me as we are ready to add another one to it. Giovanna Vici will make his debut at some point. And we'll let James break the news here. It is going to hopefully be Fabian Eichner. His voice in the vignettes were high-pitched and disguised his real voice until his debut comes. But that makes me happy because after Imperium got called up and he got left, he got baileyed. I guess you want to call it that. He got baileyed out of the three of them. I was kind of hoping he wouldn't get lost in the shuffle here, and he's not. So they repackaged him. We're getting a new Fabian Eichner. Good for that. So Alba Fire, she's going to take on Tatum Paxley. There you go. Stemming back from a backstage altercation in your house. Between Tatum Paxley and Lash Legend. I guess Lash called out Alba Fire, but not really, so Tatum did it for her. Tatum's got the match, John DeConnie.
Yeah, Tatum stepped up. She told Lash to step up where she would. I guess Lash was a little slow on pulling the trigger, so she jumped in there. Good for her. I'm sure it will be an excellent match, but I suppose Alba Fire, under her new gimmick and with her wealth of experience, we'll take this one.
Yeah, she's beating Elektra Lopez clean. I guess Cora Jade did too. I guess Elektra Lopez is on a little bit of a slump here.
Doesn't matter. She never needs to win a match.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Alba Fire and Tatum Paxley, Johnson. Tatum Paxley off her loss to, I guess it was Lash Legend, right, in the breakout tournament? We'll find out in a second.
Yeah, I agree with what John said. I'm going with Alba Fire.
Yep. Yeah, Tatum Paxley lost to Lash Legend in the tournament. We finally will have our tournament final. We talked about this last week. I'm pretty sure we all picked Roxy. I think John Smith, maybe you picked Tiffany Stratton. Here's the official bracket.
No, I got Roxanne Perez winning.
No, okay. John DeConnie, you gonna change your pick?
No, I'm sticking with Roxy.
Nope. Might as well. I believe they had a promo. Tiffany Stratton's pretty much already won it in her head. And then Roxy's playing a character that she's worked her entire life for this month. Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy if Tiffany Stratton wins that match. So we go from NXT to Thursday nights to Impact. Whoa, we own the night. You know what this part that sucks about that song? I can't find that song on Spotify. Like, I want to have that song on my Spotify playlist. I probably checked about 3 times in the past, 6 months to a year. Can't find it. John DeConnie, pretty random main event last Thursday. Unlikely teams, Moose and Macklin, and then W. Morrissey, PCO as a team. Yeah, got me on this one. But I guess you find out what happens in the end. I guess it was all for one purpose, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it was. The point was, let's put a bunch of big men together and let them beat the hell out of each other. And in the end, little man comes back. Well, smaller man comes back with a baseball bat and does things. So Macklin would hit a double underhook DDT on Marcy, to get the win in just under 11 minutes. But then afterwards, we had some, continued violence there where Moose would spear PCO, and then lights out, lights back on. Sammy Callahan appears with his baseball bat.
Sally Callahan, we were going with.
Makes perfect sense, right? Sammy cuts him off with a shot from the Callahan slugger to the face. And, obviously we know what's coming next. We're going to get some kind of match, hopefully even a gimmick match at a Impact Plus special.
You don't think this is going to be on Slammiversary?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we're not that far away from Slammiversary. Never mind.
Next week we're picking Slammiversary. Yeah, this is going to be on it. I believe the exact quote: every time he's in the ring, he's got to deal with the death machine. Thumbs up. Thumbs down. Mia Yim defeated Savannah Evans after 8 defeats. Rich Swann defeated Matthew Raywald after a Phoenix Splash. We reported last week that Rich Swann won the Digital Media Championship, but we failed to mention Cardona stole it post-match. And that, my friends, is how you explain a title change when shows have been taped ahead of time. You want to do the title change, but we already taped Swann without it. Well, just have Cardona steal it after. In-ring promo with the Good Brothers. Did you know the Good Brothers beat the Briscoes back at Multiverse of Matches? They got into a brawl over it, and then they're going to fight again at Slammiversary, so we'll get into that next week. Kenny King defeated Blake Christian with a Royal Flush to keep his X Division, his Ultimate X match spot at Slammiversary. There was no qualifying match, and I don't think I've ever I over-exaggerate. Okay, I probably have jumped higher out of my chair, but I got legitimately excited when they announced that Jack Evans will be in Ultimate X. That is awesome. Lucha Underground, baby. Go get him, Jack. Glad to have you at Slammiversary. After a win on BTI, Alicia Edwards got some mail from Masha Slamovich, which ended up being Lish's picture with a red X through it. So it looks like Masha has marked her next target. Backstage discussion with Eddie Edwards, approached by Shark Boy. Give me a shell, yeah. And then eventually Wildcat Chris Harris. They dusted off the Wildcat again. Eddie Edwards at the end of the promo at Slammiversary, Honor No More, will put an end to it all. Shark Boy and Travis mentioned New Jack last year. If you ever want to go back and just watch some fun stuff, and you know what, you watch ECW all those years and you just don't think New Jack has a comical bone in his body and it's just pure violence and whatever he was, and then you pair him with Shark Boy and they're playing kids board games in the back and they're fighting over Hulk gloves because the Hulk movie just came out. It is probably the funniest stuff you'll ever see. So shout out to Shark Boy, New Jack. Welcome back. Give me a shell, yeah. The Influence tried to cheer up Rosemary after Havoc's loss the week prior. It did not go too well. So we're going to have Rosemary and Tennille Dashwood this week, John McConney.
I never know what they're doing with those women's tag belts. I think I've chosen wrong every time, and not just when it's for the titles, when they break them apart and have them face their upcoming challengers as well. I'll say Rosemary gets it done here, and I'll be wrong. They
don't make it as easy as WWE does, John Smith, where you just break them apart and then just lose, and every non-title match they lose, and then when it's on the line they win.
Yeah, well, given what John just said, I'm going to go with Tennille.
Yeah, I'm going to go Tennille Dashwood. Impact's going to impact. I think they might just play something off. I know Havoc wasn't on TV last week, but they can play something off here where now you get Rosemary down and doubting herself. Just like Havoc was the week prior, so they have the two of them. So maybe they'll have the Influence versus Crazy Steve and Torus at Slammiversary. I think that's where we're headed with this one.
Oh, I like that.
Awesome. That would be awesome. Steve Macklin and PCO, they're going to have a match stemming off of the main event last week. They announced that late. I don't have the graphic for it, but we're going to have Macklin and PCO, John McConney.
Okay. Give me Macklin, I guess.
Well, Macklin pinned PCO, right? Last week? Oh, he pinned Cass. By the way, the Cass is done now. Right, I saw something that was Morrissey's last tape match. He's at Impact, so look for him in some type of Joker situation coming up for AEW. Johnson.
Yeah. I could see him going back to WWE with the way he looks now. Definitely, I think Vince might be interested in him.
Yeah, Carmella's a married woman now too. Things are in the past. I think they can go for it. Vince loves second chances. Any thoughts about Steve Macklin against PCO?
This one is I can't miss. I'm definitely gonna make sure I watch this one because I mean I got Macklin winning, I guess, just because PCO I guess is the older veteran and should be putting guys over like Macklin, so that's the only reason I'm going with Macklin. But I look forward to this one.
OGK got the win over Heath and Rhino after a climax by Matt Taven on Rhino. Post-match beatdown on Rhino's leg, thwarted by the Motor City Machine Guns and Frankie Kazarian. Rhino eventually had to be taken away in an ambulance, similar to how the Butcher, when he got his throat cut, Winter War '84. What was it? Frank the Butcher. Thank you. Frank the Butcher. That was very similar to how when Frank the Butcher got his throat slit.
Thank God for Dr. Snow that kept bleeding from getting out of hand.
Yeah, Rip Razor's a bastard. So they're going to have a 6-man tag team match this Thursday. Eddie Edwards and the OGK are going to be representing Honor No More, going against the Motor City Machine Guns and Frankie Kazarian. And then at Slammiversary, the Machine Guns and Kaz can get any 2 partners from Impact's past or present to take on Honor No More. So that'll be fun to see who they eventually pick. Unfortunately, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. Get Low-Key back. Get Low-Key. Get Triple X. Get Low-Key and Daniels back. Make me a happy guy, John DeConnie. But we have a 6-man tag this Thursday.
Yeah, I can't figure out what I think is going to happen here. Are we going to get TNA winning the 5-on-5 at the pay-per-view to give us a nice warm feeling? Or are we going to get Honor No More winning it to put the nail in the coffin? I'm going to go with the bad guys winning this week, Eddie and OGK.
John Smith.
Now, which pay-per-view is coming up?
Slammiversary, the 20th anniversary.
That's their big one, right? That's their WrestleMania.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so the faces should be winning at that. So I'll go with the heels tomorrow.
It's their SummerSlam. I can go with the Machine Guns getting. Let's call roll. I'm gonna go roll up on this one, and then just a 6-man beatdown, and then hopefully whoever is partnering with them at Slammiversary will come down and thwart the attack. John. Yeah, WrestleMania is bound for glory. This is their Slammiversary. So, and then we had a backstage interview with Josh Alexander talking about Slammiversary. He got jumped by Violent by Design. So he went to Scott D'Amore and demanded a match with Joe Doring. That's ballsy. So he can solve that problem before Slammiversary instead of solving it at Slammiversary. So he's trying to get rid of Doring. Joe Doring undefeated in singles action, and I do believe even though he's lost in tag matches, he's got Cody Deaner for a reason. He is the Doc Gallows of that tag team. So John DeConnie, just turn this into a cluster bleep. Just DQ, right? Like that's.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Josh wins, but probably by DQ, so that he doesn't have to pin Doring because he's Joe Doring. He doesn't get pinned.
Yeah. John Smith.
I'm gonna go with Doring on this one. I think somebody will get involved and cost Alexander the match.
Okay. John and John, we will bid you do for one more segment as we welcome back Ryan Joy from minutesofbelltime.com. Ryan, we missed you last week. We hope you had a good time with your bride on your anniversary vacation. We saw lots of ice cream, lots of pizza.
That's what I do.
You do vacations well, pal. I'll tell you that.
Oh man, El, we were talking pre-production, and you were like, "Make sure you're there at 6:15." And man, you hit that on the nose, just about. That's pretty great.
Hey, we got 6:13 right now. Yeah.
Well, a lot of stuff happening. We talk generally about Raw, SmackDown.
Hold on, I hate to cut you off. Travis is correct. He was a flawless fill-in. It was seamless having Travis Severance cover AEW in your absence.
Well, that's good. Now, what did he cover? The Best of Super Juniors and NWA?
He did not. No, we had a huge show last week. We had 2 shows to pick. We had the Sean Whipple on, and we just
almost flawless then.
Almost, yeah.
Sorry, Travis. All right, so Al, 2 big shows in the non-WWE, non-AEW, non-Impact world. This weekend we have New Japan's Dominion show, which I think we're probably going to talk about a couple times during the show. But main event is Kazuchika Okada versus Jay White for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Now that's going to have Forbidden Door implications because whoever wins that is most likely going to make a defense against an AEW guy at Forbidden Door. But there's other stuff that's happening and guys that you kind of cross over from Impact. Machine Gun Karl Anderson is challenging for the Never Openweight Championship. He's going to be fighting Tama Tonga. We saw that whole thing kind of start at Impact and then lead over into New Japan.
It was they kicked out the Guerrillas of Destiny, and then they brought back in the Jay White flip flopped the tag teams.
That's right. So Al, let me flip this on to you. Who do you got, Tama Tonga or Machine Gun?
Oh, Tama Tonga. I love the Guerrillas of Destiny, and it's not Gallows, so it just seems like Karl Anderson. Even though in Japan with his hot Asian wife, I do not see. Let Tama Tonga just take that.
So this is Tama Tonga's first defense of the Never Openweight Championship. Karl Anderson went deep into the tournament to actually crown the first ever Never Openweight champion. So this is kind of a nice little callback to that. So that's that. And what about the IWGP World Championship? You got Jay White winning it to bring it to Forbidden Door. Or are you going to have Okada?
I think I would think you would give it to Jay White because then you could do Jay White Hangman Page. You could do something like that, or you can do Jay. Well, now that whole AEW is a mess right now, so I don't even know who you would have. I mean, there's a list of people you could do a ton. But Jay White's made the AEW appearance. I think the fan would maybe rather see Okada since they've seen Jay White. When was the last time Okada's been stateside? So probably
the Ring of Honor. Well, no, he was here recently, but it was a tag match. Didn't have a big singles match. Back at a DC show, I think just last month. But the last big singles match he had would have been, not against Jay White. Would have been back like 3 years ago before the pandemic, the Ring of Honor New Japan show in Madison Square Garden. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Okada has had a big singles match. I lean towards Okada here only because I think Jay White can get involved in the whole super elite stuff and the Bullet Club. And then you can have a big title match with Okada versus name your guy, Adam Page or whoever.
I think Travis, knowing Travis, I don't know Travis as well, but knowing Travis, if he's going to have tickets like in his shopping cart like this, ready to hit purchase if Jay White wins that championship and boom, like that, buy tickets.
Oh, he's already got them.
He's already got it? All right,
that show sold out. Forbidden Door, by the way, sold out immediately. I mean, there was not a long sale for this. They had a pre-sale and they had a regular sale. And all the tickets that were available went instantly. So that's going to be a good crowd there for that show. Also at Dominion, Juice Robinson will be making his first defense of the IWGP United States Championship, and he has an uphill battle here. First of all, he I believe COVID or something. He's been out recently, but he'll be making a defense against Sonata and Will Ospreay in a triple threat match.
Oh wow!
So.
You don't see too many triple threats out of New Japan. That's
not since they only recently when they had this United States title they've been doing multi-person matches. But I got Juice here winning his first defense. I think I don't believe that they're gonna take the steam.
New member of the Ball Club. Yeah, he got the new gimmick and everything right now. He's Rock Solid Hard or something like that. His nickname is
Rock Hard.
Yeah,
Rock Hard. He's probably subscribed to his wife's OnlyFans, which is probably why he's rock hard.
Yeah, that could
be. One other match on this card that could have Forbidden Door implications is the IWGP Tag Team title match. It'll be Chase Owens and Bad Luck Fale defending the tag titles against Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb. Now, Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb made an appearance on AEW Dynamite right before the last pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. Attacking FTR. So you could have set up here a IWGP versus Ring of Honor tag title match, which would be pretty interesting, I think. I'm going to pick up Khan and Cobb here for this.
Just because of that alone. And you know what? I don't see too much of Jeff Cobb, but like I'm gonna throw it back just exactly what I just said about Jack Evans, the Lucha Underground. When you see him do that reverse slam, just knowing that he's Matanza Cueto and that character, he was just awesome.
So
I'm a big Jeff Cobb fan.
There is the Goto Tanahashi match. You want to save that and talk about that?
We'll save that. Yeah, we're gonna save that for the end. We'll save that because we got John and John involved for that.
Now that show,
and then you got Matt Cardona, right? Even though he was just in a wheelchair, I saw he's got a big match coming up.
Yeah. So that Dominion show, by the way, is Saturday morning, June 12th. It'll be like 1 a.m. Eastern time. Now, the NWA, you just mentioned, Matt Cardona, he's going to be defending his title against Nick Aldis. Maybe. Cardona has a torn bicep. So he's injured, but he said he will be there in some capacity. He kind of has to be because the NWA named the show Always Ready. And, for Matt Cardona. So if he were to show up not ready, that'd be kind of weird. But
Cody just set a horrible precedent.
Yeah, well, exactly. Exactly. He'd be really showed up pretty bad in that case. And
I heard Cody's going to hold off on his surgery and go wrestle in place of Matt Cardona. He's going to fight Nick Aldis.
That would be something.
Yeah.
The other match on this card, there's a bunch of matches, by the way. All the titles are up for grabs. But the other match that has my eye, Camille will be defending the NWA Women's Championship against Kylan King. Now, Kylan King is the Coastal Championship Wrestling champion. She is champion pretty much everywhere. So her winning this belt would be great for her. And I'm not going to be in her corner, but I'm going to be cheering from her from my couch. So...
Yeah, and Travis is a big fan too, but Camille, I mean, I guess pun half intended here. That's a tall order.
Yeah, it is a tall order.
It's a tall order. She's just tough.
Protected. She's protected. Yep. So Aaron Stevens versus Trevor Murdoch, Taya Valkyrie versus Natalya Markova. Lots of recognizable names on the card. Also, Al, this is for you and for John Smith. Samuel Shaw is making his return. Now, Samuel Shaw is Dexter Loomis. So Samuel Shaw would make his return to the NWA.
Not Shaw Samuels from East End Bookie.
That's a different person. Different. That's Shaw Samuels, not Samuel Shaw. Different people.
That'd be a fun match, though. I want to see that match.
That would be a tongue twister for sure.
It would be. It would be. All right. So everything else, we would bring John and John back in, right? You ready to get to some AEW?
Yep. Let's do it. Thank you, Travis, for filling in for me last week.
Yeah, I like the enthusiasm that Travis brought. I think he misses. And we did talk about it for a second. We kind of miss, doing those morning stuff. Just to throw that out there too.
Oh, okay.
we all kind of miss it. So.
All right.
But that will bring us to AEW Rampage. We're going to start there first. CM Punk. Brian, you can do it. There was a match on Dynamite. I guess we'll start with Dynamite first and then go to Rampage. I guess CM Punk FTR, they defeated Max Caster and the Gun Club, or the Ass Boys, whatever you want to call them.
So early in the day, Friday afternoon or whatever, they made the social media announcement that Punk was going to be on the show to update people on him and the status of the AEW World Championship. So that could really only mean one thing. And when Rampage started, Punk came out. He said he's got a broken wheel, whatever that means. He was ready to relinquish the AEW World Championship. Tony Khan said, "Slow down, big fella. We don't relinquish championships here. We make interim champions." But it was very confusing because Punk basically said, "I'm not going to relinquish the title, but I am hurt, so I'm going to be out for a while. I'm not going to go on this run that I was hoping to go on." And then Chris Jericho says he's relinquishing the title. And so it's very confusing. Luckily, at some point in the night, they kind of made the announcement that they're not going to have him vacate the title. They're going to have an interim champion. They're setting up a couple of matches that we're definitely going to be talking about and picking on the show. But Punk is out for the foreseeable future. And I was telling you in pre-production, Al, I'm pretty sure he got hurt when he did the stage dive before the 6-man tag on Dynamite, because he was limping after that. And certainly if he was hurt, he couldn't have done it to begin with. So
and then when he came out Yeah, and when he came out, I believe it was the MJF segment was right after his match on Wednesday, and they showed whatever, like, I guess somebody had something that was filming during the commercial break where Punk chased MJF off. Punk boot was off. He was limping.
Yeah.
And it was just, I just thought he maybe was getting an ice bath. I don't know. But we're going to get into the AEW championship, the matches that they're going to build to go forward to Forbidden Door. But Ryan Joy, I know John Smith, I know his opinion. I believe I know John DeConnor's opinion. Your thought on Interim?
Oh, I don't know that I really love it, but at the same time, they're trying to do something different. I kind of think that Punk should just get a title shot when he comes back, and he should vacate it. But I think back to Rocky V. Whoever is the champion is going to be a paper champion until they beat Punk, right? So whatever, whether interim or a regular champion, they're not really a champion until they beat Punk. So however they want to do it, I don't really care, but it does feel a little weird. It's not what we're used to, but they set the precedent, and I'm kind of glad that they're being consistent with the precedent, because if they just flip-flap back and forth all the time, that would be worse.
WWE, yes. Speaking of which, Punk is the second time Punk has done this. Punk leaving with the title to come back later, and then he had to fight John Cena. I
don't think Cena's going to be winning the Battle Royal, if that's what you're insinuating.
Nah, I'm not going to see John Cena.
They announced him for Raw already.
They did at the end of the month, yeah. Ryan, into the action here. TNT Championship.
Yeah. Scorpio Sky and Dante Martin on paper looks like a great match. And it was a good match. Lots of, high-flying stuff from Dante Martin. Ultimately, Sky hits the TKO. He gets the win. So Sky retains. And I think that's kind of the way that we all thought it might go. Unfortunately, Scorpio Sky also says he's a little banged up after that match, too. So hopefully we don't have interim champions galore on the AEW side. But Scorpio Sky with the title defense.
Okay. On Dynamite on Wednesday, Athena did an interview at the top of the ramp saying she's going to break Cargill's streak. As we know, Athena's track record, she's not very good at breaking streaks back in her NXT days when she couldn't beat Asuka the 5 times she tried. Interrupted by Jade Cargill with the baddies, and Stokely Hathaway saying Jade's that bitch. Turned into a 3-on-3 stare down when Anna Jay and Chris Statlander joined the party. We had a match on Rampage where Athena defeated Kiera Hogan after a yet to be renamed Eclipse. Great match, and this is the first time I've seen Kiera Hogan on TV in AEW. I'm sure she's been on Dark and Elevation. I believe this is the first time she's been on either Dynamite or Rampage, and it could have easily been a squash in Athena's favor, and I believe it went close to 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, whatever. It was closer to 10 than it was to 2. So very happy to see Kiera Hogan get that spot. The show started, John DeConnie, break out your stars. Show started with the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks for no reason. Just screw it. Just put them back in the ring together. Screw it.
For no reason other than the fact that it took place in Ontario, California, which is a stone's throw from Rancho Cucamonga. Yeah, give the Bucks someone that they've got. Give the Bucks someone that they've got incredible chemistry with, and let them tear it down for 12 or so minutes. And that's exactly what you got here. You got 12 and a half minutes of Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks goodness, and ending with a dastardly deed, which in this case was the Bucks pulling off Penta's mask, which he really needs to secure a little bit better, and a BTE trigger to Phoenix, and Matt covering for the win. And yes, I stole that line from Ryan.
Meanwhile, in Paris, Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti announced their engagement. Congratulations to the two of them. I believe they're both now double engaged for the inside a year. Good work. And then Team Taz defeated In Action with a choke slam spine buster by Hobbs. And unfortunately, you have to call these people In Action. I went to Minutes to Belt. When I saw the match, okay, it's In Action. I went to minutesbelltime.com. John DeConnie called them In Action. I'm like, wow, I really have to go to AEW.com to find these a-holes' names, and you go to AEW.com, unnamed opponents.
Well, what if it's
So
Taylor
these-
Rust?
What's that?
One of them wasn't Taylor Rust or Russ Taylor. He was an NXT guy.
Against Team Taz on Friday? I thought he was on Dynamite.
Was he on Dynamite?
He was on Dynamite. Now, these two guys
Okay, my
got
apologies. Yeah.
zero credit for being in that match. You do not know who they are. And Team Taz beat them in 47 seconds, I believe, is on the clock. So that's fun.
And the finish took place. And the finish took place while they had a cutaway below where they were running a promo by Team Taz.
Yes.
So, I had originally had them in my notes as Riggs and Murtaugh, but I thought I might get in trouble for that. So I just went with inaction.
I went to AEW.com. I went to another site first just to see AEW Rampage results. Wrestlers unnamed. All right, fine. I'll go to AEW Wrestling.com. Wrestlers unnamed. So unless they put them up now, but Ryan, I hate to take you away. I think you're trying to look that up for me, and I appreciate that. But I'm going to take you away because the CM Punk, goddamn, all that guy does is just steal thunder here. Completely stole the thunder away from probably the biggest story that should have been last week in AEW, and that's MJF and the promo heard around the world.
It's weird. It's a very weird situation with MJF because, at some point we have to decide where is the line between when this was a shoot and when this was a work, because it feels like MJF not showing up for that fan fest and all those people that put out their money and waited 2 hours and the talent that was there didn't know what was going on. It feels like that couldn't have been work, but maybe it was, which is
according
not
to
great.
Vince Russo, it was a work from the jump.
Yeah. That's kind of, when you look at the whole thing, that's kind of what it looks like. But that seems like really poor form and not good for the fans to do that at the Fan Fest. But going to this promo was also very weird because MJF is the furthest thing in the world from a babyface. But in the process of doing this promo, he went from getting booed to getting cheered as he buries the company, and he buries Tony Khan, saying Tony Khan belongs on the other side of the barricade. And they're not giving him a fair shake. Basically, by the end of the promo, the fans are booing the company, and MJF is a babyface. And I don't know if that was the intention or not, but that's kind of what happened. And then afterwards, after this promo, MJF is taken off of the website. His merch is taken down. So if it is in fact a complete work, it has to be. Why would they put him back on television to begin with on Wednesday? They're going all in on this, which is costing them merch dollars and everything to really get this over. And then you alluded to the fact that CM Punk chased him around the ring. Looks like that could be a match at some point when MJF is able to come back. Maybe it'll be longer term now that Punk's injured. But very weird, very crazy. I think a lot, everybody's talking about it, and we'll see where it goes.
Wheeler wants wants MJF to show up with a replica of the WWE Championship.
We definitely have, we talked a little bit, alluded to the whole world title picture, and there's going to be a battle royal. We know nobody that's in this battle royal. We know we have no answers to that. They have not announced any lineup. Could be MJF, could be anybody.
Yep, and we'll get to that at the end of this segment. That's what we're going to main event the segment with. What's that?
No, I was just going to say that. Never mind. Go ahead.
All right. It was an in-ring promo by the Jericho Appreciation Society celebrating their win at Double or Nothing, interrupted by Eddie Kingston, who wants to fight again, but this time in blood and guts that William Regal made the announce for. It didn't quite have that War Games tone to it, but we get it. It's whatever. It's Regal's baby. We'll let him do it. Jericho said no, which was funny. They attacked Eddie on the outside, allowing Ortiz to get in the ring. Surprised Jericho with a loaded sock, and then Ortiz cut off a section of Jericho's hair, which infuriated Jericho. Jericho then agreed to blood and guts as long as he gets a hair versus hair match against Ortiz. So not tomorrow night, the following Wednesday, I believe it's Road Rager, right? June 15th We will have hair versus hair between Jericho and Ortiz. So we'll talk about that next week. Blood and Guts scheduled for June 29th in Detroit, which is going to be the Dynamite after Forbidden Door. So that should be a pretty interesting show as a whole anyway. There was women's tag team match. Ruby Soho and Toni Storm. They defeated Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter after Destination Unknown by Ruby Riott. I'm Ruby Soho. But a little too late by Ruby. Post-match, Jamie Hayter hit both of them with the Owen belt, so they walked off strong anyway. But, man, the Ruby Soho, Toni Storm, they're just not catching a break. Max made good points. You have to cheer that. You wanted to put cheer. There we go. Cheer. See, there you go. Cheer. You spelled cheer wrong. One thinks that should be he will be. But who's going to pay him? That's the question.
Well, the thing is, yeah, I mean, we don't know how much of this is a work and how much is a shoot, and that's what's really interesting about this because, you know, if he walks out, it was
a work from the jump.
Yeah, there you go.
Misinformation. Ryan's a millionaire.
I mean, if it's a, you know, because part of it's like if he walked out on the Fan Fest, that's not a whole lot different than the whole Sasha and Naomi thing. So why would WWE even be interested in him? You know, after. You know, that kind of scenario.
Yeah,
so
but it's
weird.
Yeah, exactly. It's a work, and MJF's a heel.
Yeah.
Fans are not supposed to like him now. Like I said, the whole thing it's Austin's disease. You're supposed to hate him, and you're ending up cheering him. You know, it's
Roman has the same issue.
Yeah, yep. Our tribal chief, Ryan Joy. Miro came back. I believe he wants to take over heaven. His heart is broken. I don't know what the hell he was talking about in that promo.
You stole the thunder because it's first of all, it was Johnny Elite's open challenge. He'll fight anybody in the AEW locker room, and then we go to a pre-taped promo, and honestly, every time, I don't know what he's saying either. Something about God, something about religion, but it works. Every single pre-taped Miro promo works. He comes out, Miro gets a win in a little over 6 minutes. Game over submission. Poor Johnny Elite. I guess he is there to be Johnny put over.
Yeah, like this is so Johnny Elite. I remember the huge uproar that when John Morrison returned to WWE, he got fed to Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. Okay, so Johnny starts off slow when he starts off in companies. Like Johnny's gonna be okay. I'm not worried about Johnny. He rebounded just fine after the Royal Rumble. But yeah, Miro,
he's back.
The Ultimate Warrior lives in him. The Ultimate Warrior lives in him very strongly. John McConney, Wardlow and JD Drake. I guess that wasn't the story here. I love this feud, this story that this is happening. It may not be fun for other. I think this is borderline hysterical.
Yeah, so Wardlow took out Mr. JD Drake in just over 60 seconds. Only 2 power bombs in that evening's symphony. But afterwards, Shivani tried to get an interview, interrupted by Mark Sterling, serving a lawsuit on behalf of the American Arena Security Professionals. And the poor bastard that he sent to the ring to actually physically serve Wardlow, as Wardlow said, clearly doesn't watch the product. He took a power bomb, got the paper stuffed in his mouth, and I'm not sure exactly where we go from here, but I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh my God, I was dying. But I'm like, what the hell is he doing, Sterling? What is he doing now? He has nothing to do with this. I'm representing the Arena Security. Yes. Oh, so good. There was a 10-minute show. The Young Bucks, Red Dragon, and Hikuleo from the Bullet Club. How about that? They rented out Rick Hikuleo from the Bullet Club. They defeated Jurassic Express, Darby Allin, Christian, and Matt Hardy. I guess Jeff was subbed in by Darby, right? Jeff, he got hurt after that Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
After a high-low total elimination by Red Dragon on Matt, I think, while Jungle Boy took a Meltzer driver by the Bucks for the pin. Bucks and Red Dragon really getting on the same page here. I mean, I was getting a little worried that there was some dissension between the two. They looked like they were a unit on that one, so I'm happy with that. We have an interpromotional match. Here we go. The Forbidden Doors open. David Finlay marching through. He's going to get Hangman Page on Wednesday night, Ryan.
I mean, this is a weird match because since Juice Robinson went heel and joined Bullet Club, Finlay's kind of on an island. It seems to me like this is Adam Page making a splash that he's back. So,
yep.
Adam Page all the way on this. Probably maybe sets up Adam Page versus Okada or Jay White at the pay-per-view, maybe.
Yeah, and John Smith, hopefully Adam Page comes back with a splash, throwing some ice cubes and an alcoholic drink, because ever since he put the bottle down, he's been a mess.
Yeah, I think this match will be a good couple segments, but he'll definitely come out with the win.
John DeConnie.
Yeah, he's not far removed. You know, he's so closely removed from being your world champion. As much as it makes sense to have a guy come in and have a good showing, I can't see Finlay getting the win. Got to give it to Hangman.
Okay, and now we're gonna get into it. The AEW Interim Championship title picture. Like I said, CM Punk is remaining the champion. He's going to be gone, let's just say 6 months for argument's sake here. Maybe like Cody time.
Undetermined.
On the positive note with that is that we can go back to the Tyler Riddell game, and every time there's question marks, we can say, oh, is it going to be CM Punk? Is it going to be CM Punk? So that game gets to fire back up again. Tyler, we love you, buddy. We're going to play. But with that, so there was a press release from AEW. I want to say it came out Saturday after the confusion that Ryan was talking about on Rampage. They're going to have a battle royal to start the show on Wednesday night. The winner of that battle royal will fight Jon Moxley, who after a win against Daniel Garcia in the main event of last week's Dynamite, that named him the number one contender. I mean, who knew Daniel Garcia was such a ratings pusher right there? Jon Moxley with a win on Daniel Garcia makes him number one contender. The winner of that match will fill one half of the AEW Championship, Inter Championship at Forbidden Door. The other half will be, as Ryan Joy was explaining, at what's it called again? Dominion. Thank you. You began with the Q. Hiroshi Tanahashi, who was originally supposed to fight Punk, he came out last Wednesday. He's going to have to fight Hiroki Goto, and the winner of that will represent New Japan at Forbidden Door for the interim AEW. So that's going to happen Saturday. So we'll start with that match first, Ryan Joy, as your senior New Japan and independent senior correspondent. You got Tanahashi, who's supposed to be in it. He kind of got robbed out of this whole situation. He's got to have a playing match against Hiroki Goto, who's no slouch.
Hiroki Goto is great. He's usually working around the never open weight championship. He's usually, you can depend on him for an excellent match. And I think, but he's not really like the tippy top star level of New Japan. So he could get an upset. He's one of those guys that could always beat a top guy in an upset situation. I just don't see that as being the marquee match to sell pay-per-views in the United States. So Tanahashi's, I think, going to get through here, unless there's something that's really weird, like New Japan didn't want to have Tanahashi lose multiple times or something like that. But I think Tanahashi gets through here. And frankly, I don't think it's a bad idea if Tanahashi gets through and wins the championship at Forbidden Door. I think it makes the whole pay-per-view mean a lot more if that were the case.
No, I would say we'll definitely get into that in a couple of weeks when we make our Forbidden Door picks. John Smith, I know you watch New Japan religiously.
Well, I think they're just going to stick with the guy they planned on having. That's what it all seems like to me, Tanahashi. I like the idea of him being the interim champion too, because it's going to cheapen whoever's reign it is if it's an AEW guy. So why not have it be a guy that's not even in the company, especially if Punk isn't going to be gone for that long? Maybe let's say it's 3 months. I think that would be a good way for them to go.
And that way, John DeConnie, we get the CM Punk Tanahashi match that we're not getting at the end of June. We get that match.
Yep, makes perfect sense. For which reason, I will take Tanahashi to get to Moxley.
Now, don't forget
And fight
Tanahashi
for
has to
that.
defend the title too if he were to win it. So like he could win it and then lose.
Because the funny thing is, you have CM Punk. CM Punk, instead of going the Brock Lesnar route and just keeping the AEW title off TV and just leaving it with Punk for the time being, they're creating an interim championship so that the title is there and it's on TV to be given to a guy in New Japan who's got to go back overseas. And then the title's missing anyway. So I feel like it's...
Good point. Yeah, good point. Maybe it won't be then.
I don't know about that. We'll talk about more.
Maybe he's staying for a while. Maybe the plan is to have him stay for a while. They could call an audible. Vince does it every day.
So here, like I said, we have the Battle Royal. There has not been a list of names in this Battle Royal, as Ryan Joyce said. So I'll just put up the roster, guys. You pick and choose.
Come on, Al. You still have Marco Stunt on that list. I can see it. You got to update that graphic.
I put Joey
I
Janela in
can't
there
wait to see
too.
Marco on the voice. It's gonna be fun. So we got to pick him here. John Smith. Don't take my pick. You nailed my pick on Sunday. We were talking about it. But who do you have winning the Battle Royal? Do you have that person beating Jon Moxley? Because that's going to be the main event of Wednesday night. So we're winning 2 matches here.
I think it makes sense for Wardlow to win this. But, like, if they're not going to have him win the title, if they're going to go the New Japan route with it, then I don't think he wins this. Maybe he's not even involved in it somehow. But, I think smart money would be on Wardlow. And then he does beat Moxley. And then he does win the title. I mean, that's what, like, if there were Vegas odds on all this stuff, that would probably be what the best odds are.
My initial thought was Wardlow. If you have Wardlow just truck through that Battle Royal and then beat Jon Moxley, like you have him he's the hottest, if you want to call it that. I hate using wrestling, but this is the best. You have him on fire right now. You have him as the fan favorite. Anyone chanting his name, just let him just Goldberg the crap out of this. Just give it to him and just see what happens. I don't know what he can do with a New Japan guy or Tanahashi at Forbidden Door, but you have a great opportunity right now to just literally strap the rocket that Cameron Grimes was riding on at TakeOver in your house and strap it to Wardlow and just let him run with it. Or, Ryan Joy, do you send Hook?
No, you don't. I think he hooks the
You
guy.
can do the same thing with Hook right now, can't you?
No, keep him away. Keep him away because you're gonna have to beat him. I think what John was saying, you go with Wardlow if you're gonna go all the way with Wardlow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, keep him out. Don't even get him near it.
You can have security guys. You could have gang. There's a way to get him out of that Battle Royal without losing any momentum whatsoever, and have all the security guys go into the Battle Royal, and they have after he cleans house, somebody Kurt Angles him from behind, and
I mean he squashed MJF at Double or Nothing.
Yep.
So and there, if you listen around to the big name journalists or whatever, most of them think that Wardlow is the hottest thing in the company right now. So go with him.
Big name journalists just said that, Rye.
Yeah, go with him. I think but to John Smith's point, if he's not winning, I don't think he should be there.
Yeah, no, he can't lose the Moxley and he can't lose the Tanahashi. No, it's all or nothing with him. So if it's not going to be Wardlow, John DeConnie, if it's not Hook, I think. Do you imagine Hook runs with this? I know another guy, very nice, but he's also very evil.
That would be highly entertaining and equal parts ridiculous. So, but I'm gonna go, along those lines, along that stature. I like your idea of having Wardlow start to truck through the Battle Royal and then having the Security Association, gang up on him and whatnot. And then I think it winds up maybe being someone who the fans love, but has something else going on already anyway, so it won't make much of a difference when he puts up a good fight but loses to Moxley. I see someone like Jungle Boy, someone that we know the fans love. So, but obviously I see Moxley.
Travis, he's going with Lance Archer and Brian. When I first saw this, Wardlow was in my head, Hook was in my head, Danhausen, of course, he's always in my head because I think. If you have Danhausen in the Battle Royal, like he just stands there and he curses everybody,
Sure.
And everybody flies over the top rope with the exception of Hook because Hook doesn't get cursed.
Right.
And then Hook just dumps out Danhausen, and that's how Hook advances. But anyway, that's just not going to happen. But Jon Moxley, if I do remember correctly, he has had it out for Tanahashi for quite some time now.
Yeah.
That match ever happened?
The match has not happened. The closest we got was the 4-way match that they just had at a Capital Collision in DC, where Juice Robinson won the title from Tanahashi. To me, it feels like it's a match that they're saving for a big show. Whether that big show is going to be Forbidden Door for the AEW World Championship, or if New Japan wants to save that for like their own show later on. I don't know, but Moxley, it kind of feels like him being the named guy is the guy who's going to advance. But I don't think that's as compelling a story as the Wardlow story we just talked about. Everybody should be in this thing. Eddie Kingston should be in this thing. Chris Jericho should be in this thing. Anybody that's been a former champion should be in this thing. Here's an idea. We talked about Hangman Page and how he's got that match with David Finlay. What if Page, he goes all in Randy Savage and he has to win a battle. He has to win 3 matches in one night. I know Randy won 4, but he has to win 3 matches in one night to get in line for the match, for his 4th match. Maybe that's something you do because he wins the Battle Royal, then he beats David Finlay, then he beats Moxley. No argument that he deserves a title match.
It would be fun because of the AEW roster does like legitimately look like this. They could do World War III. Get 3 rings out there, get 60 guys, just make it a complete cluster bleep. That'd be
7 rings.
Yeah.
I think so. Long story short, if Moxley's not advancing, and they're going to have an AEW guy win the title, I think it should be Wardlow. If Moxley's just going to beat somebody, Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, any of those guys, hell, it could be Sting, whatever. I don't think Sting's lost a singles match.
I know, and now you just ruined. I don't even want to watch them. Okay, never mind. All right, we'll cue up that music. Let's close this thing up and get out of here because all that water is just ready to come firing out of it. The Primetime Rundown. Hey, they made their re-debut last night. I chimed in. Primetime Rundown. They made their triumphant return to the Eastern Observer YouTube page and everything last night. I was on it talking a little bit of hockey. Great show. The regular season programming has concluded, and it will resume with its second summer schedule. It began yesterday, June 6th at 7 p.m. Join Joey Zarzenka, Ian Schreier, and Mike Salvo as they bring you the world of sports on Monday nights through the thick of the summer, right here on the Eastern Observer. And just to update everybody with the bracket challenge pool, last night my pick to win the whole thing, the Colorado Avalanche, along with Sabo, they swept the Edmonton Oilers, so they're now in the Stanley Cup final. They are the Western Conference champions. That just about does it for Tyler. So one Rangers win or one Avalanche Stanley Cup championship pretty much seals the deal for me. So looking forward to bringing home my own Eastern Observer Stanley Cup right there. So we'll keep you in tune with that next week. The Rangers play tonight. And then since there's no hockey on tomorrow, I'm going to be watching that Battle Royal, watching Sting bring home the AEW Championship. The Black Cats NYC, their new album, Free Cake. Anywhere you get music, any one of these providers, you can get the new album, Free Cake by the Black Cats NYC, the official band of the Eastern Observer. It's out now. Lay loud. As always, the Essential Wrestling Podcast is sponsored by Pro Wrestling Pick'em, the internet leader in sports entertainment pick'em pools. Join us in the EWP Pick'em pool to play against us or create a private pool with you and your friends. ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. And guys, she will like it too. So join us back here next week at 5 p.m. the same way you're watching the show now. You will be able to watch us next week as we discuss, I guess, everything that's happened in AEW, plus make our picks. First Slammiversary, if you're listening to us on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Odyssey, please make sure if you want to watch us live to go to YouTube and search the Eastern Observer, or you can go to the Pro Wrestling Pick'em Facebook page or the Minutes to the Bell Time Facebook page. We would love to have you listen live and chime in. We have the Cody War going. This is going to be the last one for 6 months, John DeConnie. You're going to miss this.
So very.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. Oh, silly me. I forgot about the Raw roll-ups. Oof, I think I caught this. Oof. There it is. Dana Brooke, twice in 1 week. Raw threw up a 3-spot while AEW did absolutely nothing. So Raw now has 5 rolls up on AEW lead. SmackDown broke the third place tie with a win by Jinder Mahal. NXT and NXT UK each on the board here. They're looking to get double digits at some point. Xavier Woods leading the way. Dana Brooke and Ezekiel each notched their third. So they're in the thick of things right there. We still have The Miz leading the way with Butch and Tamina at 3, and then the rest of the pack tied at 2. John DeConnie, anything before we get out of here?
No. Good show, though. It's lots of fun.
Always a lot of fun. Ryan Joy.
Really looking forward to that AEW World Title picture to see who they elevate.
John Smith.
Cody is trash. Never forget. Cody is trash.
Okay. Alexa Bliss, we love you. Larry Steve, forever in our hearts. John DeConnie, take us home.
Thanks for saying I love you. You're just as sweet as pie. That I'll be here for you.
You activated my Alexa. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
I'm just going to cut it. I have nothing to say.
What was that?